Hi, I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Rihanna, and welcome back to Fresh Off the Broke.
Fresh Off the Broke is about personal experiences growing up Asian American in a predominantly white community, Asian media, and Asian pop culture in general. Race has always been a sensitive topic. Every day, there are debates over race. With our podcast, we intend to shed light on the experiences of first-generation Asian immigrants, not put them on a pedestal.
We understand that race isn't everything, but there should be an acknowledgement of people of color, the knowledge gap, and the racial divide that will ideally be broken. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the episode. Today we will be discussing what makes us most proud to be API.
Before we jump right into the episode, we wanted to wish everyone a happy Asian Pacific Heritage Month.
Yay!
Yay! Happy May. Hope you're seeing some Mayflowers.
Yes. Allergies aren't too bad, hopefully.
Hopefully it's like you're seeing the Mayflowers without having a bad reaction to them.
Yeah.
Or, maybe you're seeing them from afar.
Yeah, from indoors.
Or on a screen, if that flows to your boat. And in case you're unfamiliar, the month of May is Asian Pacific Heritage Month, which is it's pretty self-explanatory from the name. It's a month dedicated to celebrating Asian culture, history, diaspora, especially in Western nations. Most Western governments, they kind of delegated this month to honoring the history of Asian Americans or Asian Canadians, so on and so forth, as a recognition of our culture and everything we do. And so that's basically what this episode is about as well.
Very excited.
Oh,
and also, just before we get going, also just wanted to acknowledge that in Canada, the month of May is also Canadian Jewish Heritage Month. So, yay! Yeah. That is specific to Canada, though.
Yeah. So basically, as we've been saying, this episode is dedicated to celebrating Asian culture. And like Rihanna said, we're talking about what makes us most proud to be API. And also, I guess this is something we didn't really mention, but API stands for Asian Pacific Islander.
And also, by technicality, I guess the month is AAPI, so like American.
Well, it's AAPI for Americans, but for Canadians, it's the official name is Asian Heritage Month. But we here at FOB are calling it Asian Pacific Heritage Month.
Yeah.
To acknowledge
not just the American side. But yeah, if you see AAPI, that is what that means.
The I guess like all-inclusive term would be Asian API. So we'll be doing kind of like a chill, laid-back discussion about some things that we enjoy about our respective Asian backgrounds, such as food, shows, music, some people we look up to, etc., etc. So let's get on, do it.
One of the biggest things that makes me proud to be Asian, or more specifically be Filipino or be part of Asian culture in general, is the food. 1000%.
I think that's one of the like hallmarks of it all.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, I guess you could argue that's kind of a cop-out because Asia is just such a big place, and that's also like part of why it's so great, because it's just so diverse. You have so many different types of food. There's also so much overlap, which I think is really interesting, and it almost feels more like connecting to other cultures. So I like that aspect as well. Like there's always different versions of the same dish in different cultures and different Asian cultures.
Different interpretations.
I think the one thing that I'm thinking of right now is like rice porridges. Like there's different names for that.
Yeah.
I love a good rice porridge. In the Philippines, it's like lugao or arroz caldo. And then I forget what it's called in, I think in Korean or Japanese it's called juk, something like that. And then there's
Oh, it's
congee.
Chinese people call it jok, so it's like basically the
Oh,
same. Like yeah, or well, that's Cantonese. In
mm,
Mandarin, they would call it Zhou.
mm, I did not know that.
Hmm.
Yeah, overlap, but also so diverse. I
Yeah,
love
I
that.
just think with like culinary art as a whole in Asia is really, really beautiful and
Hmm.
intricate and homey. Of course,
Very homey.
as our intro say, we're not putting anyone on a pedestal here.
Hmm. Yes.
But you know, it's our month, so we can brag a little bit. But yeah, I mean, even just outside of traditional meal food, if that is how you could describe it, dessert. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
You know, one thing that's
dessert.
kind of funny, I think a lot of Chinese people can relate to, or even beyond Chinese people, is a funny thing that I've noticed and I've seen jokes or memes about is when Chinese people like a dessert, their go-to compliment is it's not too sweet, which I just think is so funny
Mm,
because
yeah.
when you think of a dessert, it's supposed to be really sweet, but then
Hmm.
for us, and I mean I think even just the other day, my mom was saying this, and so the best I don't know, I guess that's our criteria for good
Hmm.
dessert, not too sweet, which this
Hmm.
actually has impacted my palate in terms of dessert because I think if I were to eat something that was in a Western context to be a regular amount of sweetness, I might think it's overpowering. Not because I don't like it, but because I was raised that way. And so, like,
Hmm.
I had gotten used to a certain sweetness level. And
Hmm.
so now, I mean, one time for a club, we got donut. And some people were going for seconds and thirds because there were a lot of extras, and one was more than enough for me. I thought it was a lot of sugar.
Yeah. Yeah. I always, that's a good compliment. It's not too sweet.
Hmm. Have you heard that, or
I
is
have.
that used?
It is. It's not like a specific thing because I think that a lot of Filipino sweets are very sweet.
Hmm.
Um, but that is something that like even my parents say, like, oh, I like this. It's not too sweet. It's also just a thing with like age, like as you get older, too much sweetness is
Yeah,
just
yeah.
too much.
Hmm. And then one thing I guess to also consider is a lot of Asians and I think East Asians are lactose intolerant. And
Yeah.
so we have a lot of milk alternative. And what I'm trying to, okay, wait, no. We have a lot of milk, like dairy alternatives as well as dairy alternative desserts. So
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of what is it called? It's like evaporated milk, or I think they just use they
Like
use
condensed
something.
milk and
Yeah, like they
evaporated
use
milk.
something else as the main, I've noticed. Or
Mhm.
even just like ice cream in China, as far as I remember, looks different than
Mm.
than ice cream over here. And I'm not even sure how to explain it, but it looks different. Like it looks thicker.
I'm trying to think of. I know what you're talking about. Let me think of what it is.
Oh, and then speaking of ice cream, shaved ice
Oh yeah, that's also
or
like one of
mhm,
those like overlapping things within Asian culture. Like there's always a different shaved ice dessert. Like in Filipino, it's halo halo, and there's like bingsu. Um, what else? What else is it
There's
called?
the Thai shaved ice.
Mm-hmm. A lot, and it's
Yeah.
all good.
Mm-hmm. And then our popsicles are always very unique.
So like popsicles,
Like the stuff you buy in grocery stores, you know,
yeah, okay,
like
okay.
differently
Yeah.
shaped or
Yeah. Or
a
like
lot of
different
unique flavors.
flavors, like
Even candy.
tomato or corn.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Oh, I'm getting hungry.
Have you not had dinner?
No.
Oh no.
I want dessert though. No dinner for me, just dessert.
Comment your recommendations down below.
Please. I'll eat anything. But it has to be some sort of Asian dish for API.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, you know what I'm thinking of? I've talked about this on podcasts before, but Filipino like ice cream and bread.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's so good. And that like kind of brings me into another aspect of Asian food that I really like, which is street food, because ice cream on bread is a very typical street food thing in the Philippines. And street food in general is just such a big part of Asian culture.
Yeah, for sure. Like Taiwanese street food.
Mm-hmm.
Just anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go to Taiwan and have Taiwanese street food. I think one thing that people have always talked about is how if you want to identify a good like Chinese restaurant, they might say it it can't be too fancy, it can't be whatever. It has to there's a certain look and things have to feel really rushed. That's how you know like the food's super good. Like it can't
Mm-hmm.
if the restaurant is super fancy and then there might be a lot of Westerners and it's like, oh, maybe
Mm-hmm.
this place isn't that authentic. And I think street food is kind of the most pure kind of authentic representation a lot of the time
Uh-huh.
of food from a certain culture because it's
Mm-hmm.
like straightforward, it's honest, it's there. Like it is
Mm-hmm.
what it is. And it's so beautiful too. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I love I love street food. Like the night market.
Yeah, night markets.
Oh,
I'm
you know it'd
really
be
hungry.
fun
What?
going to like a night market in Singapore.
Yeah. All the food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just I think street market culture in Asia just as a whole, chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And you don't really have that here in like the West, which I have noticed that there are a lot of like Asian night markets that are pop-ups here. Like that's becoming a thing now. Um, but it's not the same. Like it's not an authentic market, obviously. Like it's people trying to replicate what it's like in Asia. But I
Yeah, I
do
think
appreciate it.
yeah, it's definitely nice because I mean, Asian American culture or Asian Canadian culture, Asian Australian culture, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of, I mean, we were talking about third cultures and whatever now. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of become like a little side thing. And it's like an extension to the culture of, I guess, I don't know how else to put this, but I guess the culture of like the quote unquote motherland or like the quote
Uh-huh.
unquote of like the OGs.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of mixing what you know from home or your ancestors' home with what
Mm-hmm.
you know here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would be kind of funny if there was, I mean, maybe there is, and we just don't know about it yet, but it would be funny if there was some type of Asian snack that incorporated maple syrup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like a little Asian Canadian kind of
Yeah.
spin.
Oh, another thing I really like about Asian culture that makes me incredibly proud to be API is like the media. I'm talking about like movies, TV shows, different dramas, all of that.
Variety shows.
Entertainment. It's just next level.
I mean, look at cinema, right? I mean, an easy example in terms of Chinese cinema is Wong Kar-wai. In the Mood for Love, Chungking Express. You know the drill. And I mean, I think one thing that has been really interesting in recent years is there's a lot of media coming out that is reflecting a lot of, how do I say this? I think we talked about this previously in an episode, talking about how some Asian dramas are now tackling things like kids feeling stressed from the pressure of having to perform really well in school, things that are really relevant, things like that. And I think it's really cool that these topics are now having light shed on them. I mean, we're seeing K-dramas that now talk about same-sex couples, mental health, a lot of things that people were shunned for even thinking about, and now there's slowly a space opening up there. And I mean, because as Asian, I'm not sure how to, because we're not Asian. I don't want to just say Asian American or Asian Canadian, because like not everyone here is either. So I'm just gonna say Asian Canadian because that's what Rihanna and I are. But as Asian Canadian, you know, we talk a lot about how there sometimes, well, I'm not sometimes, but there's a taboo surrounding talking about mental health, talking about things like sexuality, gender, race, so on and so forth. And it's really nice to see things coming out of Asia that is progressive and open-minded.
It's good to see the evolution.
And then kind of on a less serious note, with, I mean, variety shows, I think there's a lot of silly stuff that comes out of that. That can be really entertaining. That just like Rihanna said, it's next level. You got these dating shows, you got these silly game shows.
Even just like the types of shows that you can find here in the West, of like, you know, you have a talk show host that interviews different celebrities. Just in Asia, like, it's just next level. Here it's pretty like tame. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much craziness going on. But in Asia, like,
yeah, I think there's a different type of craziness over here. It's more so crazy for the drama.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's not to say that there aren't reality shows that are super dramatic in Asia. There definitely are. But I don't know if that's the key to showbiz over there.
Oh no, definitely not.
I think also they value different things.
Yeah. We've discussed this heavily in our variety show episode. Shout out.
I'll give you 5 seconds to name the number of the episode.
Me or the audience?
You.
Oh no. I have no clue.
5, 4.
I don't know. I don't know. Really put me on the spot there. But yeah.
And then again, with drama, there's also just like the really cute, fluffy stuff that you can watch for laughs or just to feel something.
Yeah, I just think that like Asian, like especially the romance genre, is just so much more. There's so much more fluff that you can find. there, which is something I
Yeah.
appreciate.
And I mean, of course, part of it has to do with being a bit more conservative
For sure.
in terms of how they, because I mean, there's always that running joke that in an American show, the main couple gets together immediately, sleep together, blah blah. But then in an Asian drama, it might take them half the entire show to hold hands.
Yeah, like that's like the biggest like piece of the plot halfway through is that they finally like brush hands. And then
like,
it freeze frames.
Oh my gosh, they're kissing. Oh my god.
Yeah. And then like the end of the show, like if it's a good ending, they end up like it's like one kiss, their first kiss, and boom.
Yeah.
End of the show.
And then poof, married.
Yeah. And again, like it's just not to say that there's something wrong with Western shows because you know, like they're two different types of pieces of media.
Yeah, I mean, I'm currently watching one.
It's just, you know, it's like refreshing because especially when you're constantly surrounded by, you know, the drama, the sex, the all the like really like someone can be really heavy. It's just nice and refreshing.
Yeah. And of course, that's not to say that there can't be problems associated with like, showing, I guess, romance in a way where it takes 25 episodes to hold hands. But
for sure.
You kind of win some and lose some there. The working progress.
Somewhat connected to media would be that I really appreciate would be like fashion and makeup.
Yeah.
Just Asian styled fashion and makeup is so I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I know.
And like maybe I'm biased, but like I like it so much better than Western style. And I think that's a difficult thing to say now, especially because a lot of Western styled things now are heavily influenced by Asian culture.
Yeah, and I mean, even just like outside of that, there's a lot of inspiration coming from people of color and other cultures that sometimes doesn't get acknowledged.
Oh yeah.
And when I think of Asian fashion, or I guess maybe in terms of like runway and then like couture, I think of Vera Wang, who's like a legend. I mean, goes viral all the time because she does not age and is a queen.
Yeah.
And I mean, she also is included in case you're unfamiliar, sometimes there are these like quotes or these like inspirational kind of posters they're saying, talking about how sometimes people feel like they're starting out late in their life, starting their career late in their life, or maybe there's like drawbacks and whatever. And a lot of people say that Vera Wang didn't design her first dress until, what was it? She was in her 40s. Yeah, she started her company at age 40. And then someone else that I kind of immediately think of when I think of Asian fashion, like fashion design, is Guo Pei. And if you don't know who that is, if you've seen this one specific Rihanna look at the Met Gala, the one with the gold dress.
Oh yes.
That was Guo Pei. She does that and much more. And her looks are amazing. They're just out of this world. They're just so beautiful, intricate, and they're just a marvel to look at. There's just so much to see.
Period.
Especially with like gold details and just details in general. It's just so like the embellishment.
Bougie.
And there's also so much culture that she shows through her design.
Love when it's always integrated like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even just in general, fashion, Asian fashion, like Japanese streetwear is such a big source of inspiration here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
And
streetwear culture,
mhm,
definitely a huge thing.
mhm. And
And
makeup
yeah.
now, like Douyin makeup, that's such a big thing here now. Even
Mm-hmm.
like before Douyin makeup, there was influences from like the Japanese hangover makeup, for like when you put the blush high on your face or high on your cheeks, like things like that, small things like that.
Yeah, and I mean Asian beauty products,
Uh-huh. Oh,
they have been
my favorite thing
growing
to talk about.
exponentially in popularity.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I mean, for one, the quality. I mean, we've talked about mascara, right?
Yup. My favorite thing.
Mm-hmm. I think mine is like eyeliner or nail polish.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, I
Asian beauty
mean,
products are so
packaging.
next level.
I always loved the packaging. I
Yeah,
think
like
it's for as long as I can remember, just ever since I was little,
mhm,
even before obviously I used makeup because I
mhm.
wasn't using makeup when I was 5, but
Yeah.
when you go through the stores and you see the stuff, it's so cute and so
Yeah.
pretty that you want to play with it.
Uh-huh.
This is talking from the perspective of a child.
Mhm. But even like that's a whole nother thing. Just the cutesy culture, like cute culture in Asia. We don't have that here at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that like just me personally is something I really, really appreciate. And that, as you said, like you can find that in packaging and products. Just it's so much cuter.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get it over here.
And I love Asian nail art. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
shout out.
pretty.
I mean, I feel like one thing that's really important to acknowledge or give kind of a shout out to is like Asian nail salon
Yeah, for sure. For
because
sure.
I think that's just such a. I mean, they're kind of the backbone of
They are.
every. Well, not everyone goes to get their nails done, but like they are the backbone of
Like nail salons
and
in
like
general.
people and their nails. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says, you know, like the stupid racist
Oh
comments about
yeah.
Asian nail ladies or whatever. They they are the backbone
They are.
of
And like
nails.
they are. And yes, obviously you can have bad experiences, but like you can't go wrong with trusting just your local Asian nail salon. Like they are the rocks of the nail community. They are the
Mm-hmm.
foundations.
Mm-hmm. They are the back. They just they're
They are. They just are the nail community.
they carry.
For real. Shout out to my local nail salon. Love them
They're
for real.
they're like the atlas of
Yeah, they really are though.
nail beauty.
Yeah. And like I have so much personal connection to my local and like my nail salon. I've been going there since the womb. Like my mom had been going there while she was pregnant with me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So just gotta love Asian nail salons.
I've never been to a nail salon in Canada. I usually do my own nails,
Hmm.
but my aunt has taken me twice, when I had gone to China, and I love the experience just because you know like
Hmm.
getting your nails professionally done, but then also I just love the different nail art trends and just all the
Hmm.
looks that come out of like Asian beauty, and
Hmm.
then especially with like you know like Chinese nails, like Korean nails.
Yeah, those are going
I just love
crazy
the
right
little
now.
pattern.
Hmm. Like the blush nails, especially right now. It's like the biggest nail trend and all the
Yeah.
charms and everything.
Oh, one of my favorite recent nail trends are the red nails. Like there's this specific like Chinese red nail look that just looks really so like fancy, and then kind of make you feel like you're just like a really fancy rich person.
Oh yeah.
With like, and it's like kind of shimmery, not red in the, I guess, the Western version of the red nail trend. Like
Mhm.
that's like very different. I think that is more of like a matte
Just
kind
like a
of red,
bright,
like bright
yeah.
red moment, but this is more of
Yeah.
like a darker kind of
Uh-huh.
maybe blood red. It's very edgy in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but also kind of fancy looking.
Mm-hmm. Ugh,
Like
just love
the
Asian
backbone.
everything. Yeah, the backbone. No, for real. It really is.
Yeah, I love Asian nails. And then I mean just hairstyles.
Yeah. Oh, and like the variety of hair in, okay, that's such a weird statement to say, but like as someone whose hair is such a big part of like my identity, like just acknowledging all the different hair types in Asia and like different hairstyles is so, just love it. Like it's not just pin straight hair, you know?
Hmm. Definitely not.
Shout out to API Curls, to our girl
Rosie.
Rosie. We love you. She isn't working on API Curls anymore, but we have worked with her when it was up and running, and
Back in the old days.
mhm,
If you remember that, you've been here a while.
OG.
Mm-hmm. Sending her our love.
Mhm.
Hey Rosie, if you're listening. We wish you well.
Mhm.
Sending you our love. To go back to what we were saying in terms of clothes, I think Asian accessories have always been something that I always loved.
Mhm. So much
Especially,
better.
yeah, I mean,
So much better. I
I
don't
wasn't,
care.
I wasn't expecting you to jump in with that, but earrings, bracelets, rings, charms, keychains, phone cases. Oh my gosh.
Phone cases, man.
I love the ones that look like pens or that
Yeah.
looks like knives or they look like a giant animal.
Mhm. Just so much better.
So
They can't
extra.
do it here. They don't do it like they do it in Asia. So much better.
Hmm.
Objectively better. I
Yeah,
will
and
die
then
on this hill.
a little outside of fashion, I just had a thought to give a shout out to stationery.
Yes. Just again, like
Real stationery.
yeah, real stationery. It like plays into the whole like cutesy thing. Like
It's so pretty. And then
yeah,
the quality is really nice too. I mean, even just pens, highlighters,
yeah,
paper.
just so much better.
If I have the time, whenever I happen to go to an Asian everything store, I do enjoy just walking to the stationery aisle and just looking at it and then just walking
Uh-huh.
away. I just want to look.
Yeah, just aesthetically pleasing.
Hmm.
Just satisfies something, even just looking at
I love the aesthetic.
it. Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that is really big in Asia, aesthetic.
Uh-huh.
I mean, aesthetic is something
Aesthetics.
that a lot of people care about, just regardless of culture, but
We just
you get the
do it
point.
better. Okay, just kidding, just kidding. Not putting anything on a pedestal here, but personally, I think we do it better. That's all I'll say. Oh, another huge thing is music.
Yes.
Asian music just so much better. And okay, that might have come like a little bit abrupt, but I'm thinking of something very specific here. So it's kind of connected to like, the whole cutesy thing, but I think that Filipino like courting culture and romance songs are just they hit different, man.
Yeah, tell me about it.
They're just I don't know. Maybe it's just because they're like I listen to songs in Tagalog, and it just like sounds different. The meaning is just deeper. Like I just
Yeah,
feel it
yeah.
more.
I think
Um.
One thing that Chinese people complain a lot about in terms of English translations is that the translation doesn't really make sense, or
Yeah,
it
yeah.
oversimplifies what was actually said.
Exactly. Like they're just lost in translation. You don't like if you can understand it, it just hits differently.
I think part of it might have to do with the fact that not all Asian languages, of course, some are Romanized,
Mhm.
but I think maybe part of the reason why, and someone that is a linguist might be like, what the heck is she talking about? But let's just sit here and listen for 5 seconds about my linguistic theory, okay?
Okay.
Tiffany
Tiffany's
linguistic
linguistic
theory
theory.
about Asian meaning, Asian meaning.
Asian meaning.
Mhm. So I think that because it's a character by character language. Does that make sense? Because,
Yes.
for
Yes.
instance, like Chinese, Korean, I mean Thai,
Hmm.
Urdu, like Arabic, like it's like characters kind of, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so I think that maybe because it's character by character instead of, and well, I mean Korean has an alphabet, but you get my
Hmm.
point.
Yes,
So
yes.
characters pack hold a lot of meaning
Yeah.
one by one. And so you put them together, and then there's like even more meaning.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, in English, LOVE spells love, but L
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean anything
Yes.
unless you're thinking of that song where they're like,
L
L is
is
for the
for the way
way
you
you
look.
look at me. I kind of walked, I realized that I was walking myself into that
Yeah.
halfway into explaining that, so I felt the need to acknowledge that song. But yeah, L doesn't necessarily mean anything
Yeah.
unless it's the way you look at me, of
Unless you're
course.
Michael Bublé.
And O is
Oh, he's
for the.
is he the one that wrote that song? He is, right?
I have no idea. I'm gonna
I'm
be
pretty
honest
sure he
with
is.
you.
I'm
I'm
pretty sure he is.
Michael. You know what? Let's find out. Michael Bublé, love.
Because he does a lot of color covers, but I don't think that one's a cover.
Is this his song? Let's find out.
Just the way you look tonight. That's the song.
No, no. Wait. No. That is not Michael Bublé's song.
It
What you
isn't?
just sang. The song you just sang.
Is
The way
it
you
that's
look.
not the same?
The way you look tonight is. It's Frank Sinatra.
Is wait,
Like,
wait.
na, 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 na,
Wait.
na, 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 na,
Okay,
na.
maybe it's because I'm
Just
thinking
the
of
way
okay, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
look
yeah.
tonight.
I think it's because okay, this is completely different train of thought. But the reason why I sang it after talking about the Michael Bublé song is because again, as I've said thousands of times, I am a dancer and there
Oh,
was
are
one
you?
there was one dance at my dance studio that was a mashup of those two songs. Like it was a cover of both and they mashed it up together. It was a boy and a girl dancing too. It was super cute. Um but that's why I thought those songs were the same.
By the way, that the love song is not by Michael Bublé. It's
No!
the jazz swing song written by Milt Gabler,
Dang it.
composed by Bert Kaempfert and sung by Nat King Cole. Originally released on his 1964 album LOVE, and the song has been covered multiple times, including by Diana Krall and Michael Bublé.
I'm just both wrong.
Mhm.
God. Pretend that didn't happen. Pretend I got that right.
To bounce off of what Rihanna was saying about romance songs prior to the the whole LOVE tangent that we just had
Oh
here,
god.
a staple for romance song, Chinese romance song, a must have on your karaoke queue
Hmm.
is Fairy Tale or Tonghua or Tonghua. And I think You are not. You're you are not Chinese if you have not sung that song in a
She's making the
karaoke,
statement.
or if you haven't. Because what person doesn't like?
Go
There
off.
ain't no way you don't know this song. Like
Mm.
every single person. I mean, I guess maybe if you're Gen Alpha, like after Gen Z, but I think because it does depend on if your parents know it.
Mm.
But this song is like the song, like the karaoke song.
Mm.
It's, I mean, I've seen it featured a lot on Chinese meme pages, or like Chinese Canadian meme pages where people will say like that Chinese karaoke song, or like me and the homie when Donghua comes on, and then everyone's
Mm.
bawling their eyes out.
Mm.
And I mean, the music video too is just so sad. And yeah, I mean, if you don't know Donghua, then I gotta revoke your Chinese card. I'm taking back everything we said from the Third Culture Kid episode. I don't know why you're laughing. I'm being dead serious.
Straight up like our last episode.
Yeah, what about it?
It's completely different.
Mhm.
180 switch.
What about it?
Period. Go off.
Yeah.
I support it.
If you don't know that song off by heart, what is it? Have you ever seen those videos where someone pretending to threaten the viewer of the video
Yeah.
to say all the lyrics to the song?
Yeah.
That's me to everyone right now, including you, Rihanna.
Oh God.
Beware.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, just outside of that,
what a segue.
just like a little outside of that, I really enjoy just like Chinese ballads as a whole. I just think they're so pretty. And then on a more kind of historical note, I mean, Chinese opera.
Mm.
I can't say that I'm someone that's super well versed in Chinese opera. I also haven't attended one before, but what I've seen growing up on TV or what I see now just through videos, I mean, there's just so much. Sounds stupid to say, but there's just so much culture there. I
Mm.
think there's a lot. I mean, the costume, and you could say this about opera as a whole, right? Like it's a very emotional art.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, Mando Pop has been really going off now, and then R&B is kind of gaining popularity in
Mm.
China. There's a lot of cool like Chinese R&B, Chinese rap, of course, which is influenced by the Black community.
Mm-hmm. Even besides our own cultures, like K-pop,
The
extremely
K-wave.
giant.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows what K-pop is now.
Mm-hmm. Slightly unrelated, but related. One thing that was really annoying me and a lot of other people is so recently at the Met Gala, uh, a Chinese artist, Chai Shu-kun, was mistaken for a Jimin from BTS over and
Oh,
over and over again by like major publications.
of
And
course.
and some people were saying, really? In May?
Yeah,
Asian
really.
Pacific Heritage Month, really? We're really still doing that?
Yeah, we like just started. I mean, this episode's coming out not kind of near the middle of the month, but we just started. We basically just started Asian
Yeah, it's coming
Heritage
out
Month.
the second week.
Yeah,
We're still there.
yeah.
And it's so irritating because I mean, okay, in the most charitable way, you could say that it can be hard to keep up with who is who for
Uh-huh.
celebrity, but there's just, why do you always mistake the Asian ones? Like, what is
Yeah.
going on there?
I mean, I think we know what's going on there.
What?
You know.
Enlighten me.
You don't need me to enlighten you. We already know. Yeah.
And it's just so irritating. I mean, even outside of that, there sometimes people mistake when K-pop groups they go out to America for award shows or for events, you will see them be misnamed
BTS.
Yeah, or uh even if it was BTS, like they might get a member wrong.
Yeah.
And it really shows the lack of care.
Yeah, for sure.
Justice to Chai Shi-kwon. He had a good outfit for Met Gala. Say his name.
God, of course they're like Jimin.
Yeah.
It's always Jimin too.
No, but you have to understand, Rihanna, it wasn't just that. The posts that were being made by these major publications, Twitters and Instagram and whatever, they were saying stuff like Jimin is here. I repeat, Jimin is here. And it's like,
my
huh?
God.
What do you mean he's
here?
Well,
Jimin is where? I don't see him.
Where is this Jimin we're speaking of?
Is this Jimin in the room with us right now?
Clearly not. Say his name.
Man. Yeah, just besides K-pop, there's everywhere else in Asia. B-pop, Thai music, T-pop.
I don't know if I've ever heard of it being referred
I haven't
to that, but
either.
I imagine you could probably do that for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, Bollywood.
Yeah. Everything, man. Music brings us all together. We've kind of done this throughout, but there are also just like some notable people that make us super proud of our own heritage. For me personally, the one person I would like to mention is Nieves Fernandez, which back during when the Japanese invaded the Philippines, this woman was a school teacher who turned into an assassin, and ended up like being the lead commander of a certain like part of the army. And she was nicknamed the Silent Killer for killing so many Japanese people. Japanese people, like that sounds wrong, but so many enemy Japanese soldiers. She was essentially protecting her students, because the Japanese wanted to turn her students and just like the women in her area into what were called care girls, which, if you are unaware, just, like turning them into like not even prostitutes, just like slaves essentially. And this woman was famous for teaching, I believe it was American soldiers and just soldiers in general, how to cut a specific section of the neck silently so that,
my goodness,
yes, so that the person would die instantly and silently and fast. And she killed a large amount of people. And I think she was the only like female army or like general during that time. She's incredibly inspiring, and as someone who like wants to be a teacher, I very much look up to her for this, because she's just a teacher, and then as soon as something broke out, she's like, nah, I'm gonna turn into an assassin. I'm gonna save my students, protect my students. I just think it's insane.
And then to kind of jump into some cool Asian Canadian people, we have David Suzuki.
Period.
Who, if you're unfamiliar, he's like a very big environmental activist. Founded the David Suzuki Foundation. Was made an officer of the Order of Canada, which is a very high honor here in Canada. We have Jean Lum, who first Chinese Canadian woman to receive the Order of Canada. Huge community, what's the word? Community builder, advocate. She helped save Toronto's first Chinatown. Big leader. She was the leader for the Save Chinatown community, as you probably could have assumed by what I was saying before. And her foundation, every year they have scholarships for Chinese Canadian students to help fund their education and honor those students' work in different areas. You know, for instance, like community building, celebrating their academic leadership, so on and so forth. And let me see. And another person that I would like to shout out here is Vivian Poy, who was the first Canadian senator of Asian descent. And she works closely with a lot of Asian heritage societies. She's involved with over 60 of them. Go up.
Period.
Boss woman. And she was actually one of the main actors in terms of having Asian Heritage Month in Canada. Like having May recognized.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, little fun fact. We gotta thank her, at least in Canada, we have to thank her for this month.
Shout out.
A really key part of Asian representation. I mean, we've talked about this time and time again, but Asian YouTubers, Asian content creators, I think are a really big part of helping Asian kids see themselves.
And just like the development of
like a relatable way. Or sorry, you were saying?
No, sorry. Just the development of YouTube in general. Like Asian YouTubers were the backbone of YouTube.
So if you are an Asian YouTuber or content creator and you are watching this or listening to this, shout out to you. You know who you are. And I mean, just think about, even just in terms of, even if you're not Asian, there's a lot of OG Asian YouTubers. I mean, think about beauty gurus, think about people like YouTube comedians. Is that a proper, I think
yeah.
Think about all those like silly Asian comedy videos on YouTube, like little relatable videos that were maybe even posted on Facebook. Oh, and then I guess to go off of Facebook, subtle Asian traits, groups like that.
Yeah.
It's really cool how, and we have mentioned this a few times lately, but you know, the internet with its harms and downsides has definitely been a place that also opens up spaces for people to make their own groups where, you know, like Asian people can come together, or people that are fans of different things. Because if you're in a predominantly non-Asian community, sometimes it can be really isolating. I mean, like, take it from me. And I think it's really cool that now people can hop online and maybe go on a group chat and then, I don't know, learn how to make an Asian dish with someone else.
Yeah.
That's something that I don't think I could have really done growing up. And I mean, we definitely grew up with the internet, but at a different time of the internet. Like, definitely not the internet as it's developing now. I definitely could not have hopped on group. I don't think I would have known how, for one, but then aside from that, such opportunities were not
Mhm.
as what's the word? Uh, I'm having a language moment. Uh, there were not as many opportunities to do so.
Uh-huh.
That's not the word I wanted to use, but that's okay.
Mm.
Oh, and then I mean like Asian podcast. I with the with the advent of podcasting apps, a lot of, I mean, there are downsides to this, not Asian podcasts, but like podcasts in general, because a lot of people have talked about this, now that anyone can make a podcast, there are also the wrong people making podcasts, spreading very harmful
That is true.
opinions and ideologies. But I just kind of wanted to acknowledge how, I mean, we were able to make a podcast to talk about like Asian things, serious, silly, stupid, fun.
Fun. Whoa, that was scary.
And it's cool to see the direction that we're heading in terms
Mm.
of people being proud to be Asian, or people learning that they can be proud to be Asian. I
Yeah.
think for a long time, a lot of people maybe felt ashamed or didn't really know how to be proud.
Yeah.
And I
Which
mean,
sucks. Like that's awful
yeah.
that people ever felt that way. I mean, I know I have. I know you have. Sucks.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, with like increasing representation on like shows, movies. I mean, look what happened with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
True.
Like floored the entire world.
Yeah.
It's cool what's happening now.
Yeah. I'm glad to see like the development, as
Mm-hmm.
I said earlier. But of course, like there are setbacks, there are other issues that arise, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy with the way things are developing,
Mm-hmm.
making us feel seen and
Mm-hmm.
appreciated,
Mm-hmm.
and just incorporating more aspects of our culture.
Yeah,
It's
and
nice.
I'm pretty sure I said this last time we did an episode like this, but as a very special someone, Sandra Oh said, it's an honor to be Asian. And I just like that quote so much. I'm probably gonna repeat this every time we do a AVI Heritage Month episode, like an
Mm-hmm.
episode where we kick off the month.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably gonna say that every year.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to complain about it.
No.
Haha. If you could, you're only allowed to complain about it if you are able to word for word recite Chonghua to me in perfect pitch.
For some reason, I thought you were gonna say you could only complain if you can recite word for word like one of our podcasts.
Hmm. Now you got me reconsidering. I'll get back to y'all about that.
We'll let you know the requirements
Mm-hmm.
later.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have to send in a resume if you want to complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, go through a three like interview process.
I'd be so down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways, to go back to the main point of the episode, a happy Asian Pacific Heritage Month.
Mm-hmm.
We hope you enjoyed our little gushing moment where we kind of
Mm-hmm.
raved about everything. Oh, I guess rave. I've never been
Oh
to
my
one,
gosh.
but that's definitely a big like Asian American or Asian,
It
yeah, a
is.
very Asian youth thing that happened in the
Yeah.
diaspora.
A Western young Asian thing. And I so badly want to get into it. If anyone is listening and you are like an Asian rave girl or an Asian rave man or an Asian rave person, please tell me how to get started. Please. I so badly just want to go to a rave and experience the rave girl life, the Asian rave girl life. So please. I mean, okay, aside all the jokes, we also just want to point out that Asian pride and Asian representation goes way beyond just the month of May.
Yes.
This is not a like, let's celebrate for the month and then go back to it not caring or not mattering. That is not it. We're just highlighting it this month. It should matter all the time. And it does matter all the time. So be proud of who you are.
Yeah.
Please.
Happy Asian.
Please.
Happy Asian Pacific Heritage Month.
Yay.
Hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you, as always, for tuning in today. And share what makes you proud to be Asian Pacific Islander. Feel free to leave a comment about any of the things that we covered. We talk about food, talk about media, fashion and beauty, music. Do you have a role model that you look up to? Asian role model? Maybe talk about your favorite Asian YouTuber. You get the drill.
Are you an Asian rave girl? Can you please share your tricks and tips? Please. If you guys like this episode and want to stay connected with us, check out our website in the description below. It contains links to our streaming platforms such as Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and more. Follow us for more behind-the-scenes content, announcements, and other random things we decide to put on there.
Happy Asian Pacific Heritage Month. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.